for all the action, let's join our CBC commentary team.
It's a gorgeous night for football here in Winnipeg, a bright sunny night with just a moderate wind from the west at 15 miles an hour. Hi everyone, I'm Bob Pickens, pinch hitting for Don Whitman, who's away at the Commonwealth Games in Edinburgh. 20 years ago, back in 1966, when I first was calling play-by-play football on radio in the West, a man wearing number 23 led Saskatchewan Roughriders to their only Grey Cup title. 10 years ago, in 1976, I called a Grey Cup game that may have been the biggest disappointment of that same quarterback's career. Now it's 1986, and I have a chance to work with that same Ron Lancaster at close range. Ronnie, you guided the Saskatchewan Roughriders for 16 wonderful seasons. Can you guide me through this telecast tonight?
Bob, never worry about it. I carried George Reed for 12 years. I carried Steve Armitage, and I've carried Don Whitman. But for us, we're just going to have a good time and see a good football game.
All right, what kind of a football game can we expect? The last time we saw the Blue Bombers, they put on a stunning display here, 56-0 over the Riders.
That's the kind of offense that you can only draw on the board and hope that only get to maybe once a season or once every 2 years. I know that Tom Clements could have gone out on the field that night and thrown the ball through the eye of a needle. Saskatchewan could have put 14 guys on defense, yet he would have found an open receiver. On the other side, he could have handed the ball to anybody he wanted to, and they would have probably gained yards running with the football. It's just one of those games that come along every now and then. You got to get them out of your system one way or the other. I know Cal Murphy had to be really pleased after that one, but what a difference a week makes. He went into Ivor Wynne Stadium, turned over the ball 9 times, 5 interceptions by Tom Clements, and they come out of there with a 28-11 loss.
An amazing number of turnovers for a football club that prides itself on execution. Meanwhile, Calgary Stampeders seem to have found themselves with a balanced attack.
Well, I think every coach is looking for a balanced attack. And what they've done is they've gone out and find a running game. You know, as fate would have it, Dwight Beverly got injured, and in steps Gary Allen. Now, Gary Allen played his first game that we saw against the Ottawa Roughriders, ran for about 115 yards, and was our Carling O'Keefe offensive game star. Now, if the running game isn't going, we've heard about Rick Johnson. Rick Johnson can flat out throw the football, and he's got great receivers to throw to. In this case, Emmanuel Talbert. He can get behind anybody because of his blazing speed. But in order for him to execute, they're going to have to block the Winnipeg defense.
Ron, is it safe to say that the Winnipeg leaders are going to have to be stronger, take a more prominent role tonight?
You always want your leaders to come up big. In this case with Winnipeg, we know it's Tom Clements. Tom Clements is a fascinating story. Anytime he comes out and plays a football game that was as bad as he played in Hamilton, usually that next game he comes back hard and he'll put the lights out on you. Tom Clements is a competitor. He didn't like sitting around during this break and have to, look over that loss. On the defensive side, Darrell Patterson, the linebacker. We have talked about the linebackers of the Bombers being the heart and soul of the Winnipeg defense. We talked about Tyrone Jones, James West, Delbert Fowler. We see Darrell Patterson can also rush the quarterback. And in the Bomber defense, you never know who's coming and from where.
Quarterback Rick Johnson of Calgary, he seems to have found himself a few favorite targets.
Well, he sure has. Ray Alexander is his favorite receiver. He's caught 20 passes. Now, Emmanuel Talbert has 17, so between these two, they've got a pretty potent attack. But Ray Alexander, at 6'3.5" and about 185 pounds, looks the part of a wide receiver. He's a big target to throw at, and he's got the speed to go to distance. Greg Peterson at safety. When Winnipeg wants to get their inside receivers involved in the passing game, that means Greg Peterson's going to have to play well for them. He's in his 3rd year out of Brigham Young and finally getting a chance to start.
Calgary and Winnipeg tonight, and we'll be back very shortly to call it to you. Right now we go to kick the football with the slight advantage of the wind that they have. Our officials tonight. Ken Lazarick, of course, is a Winnipegger, and he will really be the man in charge of the show. Wright, Middleton, Hutchinson, McAvoy, and Donnelly. Trevor Kennard teeing up the football at his own 35-yard line to get this ball game going. Kennard, of course, wants to come through in the place-kicking department tonight. He hasn't been too successful this year. And he's going to dribble the football along the ground. He spies on the football near the Bomber 47. Did he kick that football far enough? There's a penalty marker down. It could be that he didn't get the football up far enough, or somebody ran ahead of him and jumped the gun. There's an immediate surprise, Ron Lancaster.
I'll say, you just don't expect that, but, they've had 2 weeks to practice it. I really believe it's Trevor Kennard's decision. Everything went right at football. I think it's his decision whether he does it.
And they have waved off the penalty, and the Blue Bombers will recover it at the 46-yard line. Let's look at it again. He dribbles the football along the ground, Ron.
You see him, he's very, very careful to make sure that ball goes 10 yards. Until that ball goes 10 yards, he cannot touch it. And he just ran with it, and as soon as it crossed the 45, he jumped on it. That's a good way to start if you're a Winnipeg fan.
A good break manufactured by Trevor Kennard, and Tom Clements leads the Blue Bombers up over the football at the 46-yard line. In behind his center, Mark Moores. He'll hand it off to Will Reeves up the middle. Breaks across midfield. Hogan on the tackle for Calgary, and that will move the yardsticks. The Blue Bombers starting lineup behind Tom Clements. Reeves and Kapner, the setbacks. And up front, the receivers. Tuttle is wide to the left on this opening play. The first down at the 53-yard line of the Stampeders. A handoff again to Reeves, trying the right side, runs into heavy traffic. Bernie Morrison, the middle linebacker, in on the stop near the 51-yard line. He'll have a short gain of 2 yards.
Talking to Cal Murphy before the game, he wanted to get Willard Reeves more involved in the football game. He hasn't felt their running game has been what he's wanted, and he wanted to get him started. They've got it to him 2 in a row, and they're in pretty good shape. 2nd and 8, though, they're going to have to put it up.
Randy Faby has gone into the ball game at one of the slot back positions, replacing Jerome Erdman. On 2nd and 8, Clements calls the signal. He'll go back to throw. Looks to the right side. Fires it out over the hands of Poplawski at the 30-yard line. Goes back to receive along with Tag Rome. Cameron standing on the Winnipeg 44-yard line. Lots of time. He slips and gets a short end-over-end kick away. Bouncing down to Kopp, who takes at the 19. No yards would seem to be the call there against the Bombers. Vernon Paul leading the Bomber tacklers in just a shade early, and Darcy Kopp was the man who came up with it and charged into the Bomber tacklers, and immediately the penalty marker went down. Calgary starting lineups with Rick Johnson, of course, the man on the controls. That's the defense for the Calgary Stampeders. The linebackers, of course. Johnson calling signals as he breaks the huddle. That comes up over the football. Calgary has it 1st and 10 after the penalty at its own 31-yard line. Johnson with a long count. Drifts back to throw. Lots of time. Fires it out in the flat to Allen. He's on the 30, 35. Near the shoved out of bounds over there by Bennett.
Good way to open a football game, Bob. Quarterback.
The running back, Allen. It'll be 2nd down and just inches to go. Indication given over to Coach Bob Vespasiani. And the decision will be to go here probably right up the middle. We'll see. And that short yardage, Ron, I know, and as a quarterback, sometimes the tendency is to go for a bomb right here.
Well, this is an ideal time because of it being, we saw Bob Polish show like 2 inches. Well, they can make the 2 inches on 3rd down, just on whether Coach Vespasiani wants to gamble. It's a good time to do it, though.
See what Johnson elects to do here as he comes up in behind his center. Checks over the Bomber defense. 2nd down and inches for the Calgary Stampeders. Allen and Figure the setbacks, but he keeps himself, goes ahead and picks up the 1st down with lots to spare. Rick Johnson has Gary Allen and Greg Figure working with him.
Trevor Kennard, you see, he's the guy who recovered the short kickoff. He's got a little bit of an ice bag on his back on his left hip. Probably somebody hit him when he was falling on the football. Kickers aren't used to getting hit too often anyway.
Football marked 24 yards in from the far side on the hash mark. It is 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line of Calgary as Johnson barks the signal. Hand off to Allen. He finds running room over the right side and gets near the 50. James Jefferson, the newcomer in the Bomber perimeter defense, up to make the hit. And James West also in on the tackle.
Defensive line replacing Tony Norman, who went to the reserve list. We talked about those linebackers. They're tough. And in the secondary, we said that James Jefferson's going to get the opportunity to play because of an injury to Wiley Turner, so he sits out tonight's game. But Jefferson, they've been wanting to get him in the lineup anyway.
The football at the 50. Johnson back, looking for the 1st down. Throws it. It's good to Marshall Toner. He's got the 1st down. Down to the Winnipeg 50-yard line. Ken Haley up on the stop out of the Bombers secondary. The wide receiver left. Johnson. Back to throw to the right side. Too high off Alexander's fingertips. Jefferson came in there to put the hit on, but the pass high and off the mark. It comes back 2nd and 10 at the Winnipeg 50. And Toner goes up to the right with Rome. Long count, and they don't get this one away. Penalty markers down. Stan Mikowas may have jumped the gun. And we'll wait for the explanation from field level. It was 2nd and 10. It's an offside call against the Blue Bombers. Again, Alexander wide left along with Toner. In the slot to the left is Tolbert. Johnson back to throw. And he gets pressure. Gets it away. Incomplete. Intended for Tolbert. Sturdivant and Fowler putting the pressure on. John Sturdivant in his first game for the Blue Bombers this year. For Calgary is Glenn Harper. And the Blue Bombers have Sampson back all alone near the 10-yard line. And here is the kick. It's a high spiral. Taken on the 4-yard line by Sampson. Back to the 10, to his left to the 15. They jump him over on the 16-yard line. There's no score in this football game as we near the 9-minute mark in this first quarter. We'll be back from Winnipeg Stadium.
John Coughlin moves up from the backup, and they reacquired James Walker from Saskatchewan. Vince Goldsmith and Harold Hallman are still there, so 2 of the 4 are new.
Clements throws on first down, intending to get it to Pat Kantner, but it was off the mark. Hogue was covering on the Blue Bomber fullback. Lancaster, you're going to talk about this one, I'm sure, because Clements looked like he had to throw that ball before he wanted to.
Yeah, that was a good job by the secondary to Stampeders. They forced him to throw the ball before he was ready from the rush up front, but when you saw the ball go out there, he very nearly had that picked off, and if Hogue picks it off, it was an easy touchdown for them.
Sean Kehoe has gone into the Bomber lineup at fullback, replacing Kantner, bringing in the play on 2nd and 10. The Bombers in their own zone now, and Clements is back to throw. Looking down the middle, fires, and it's incomplete. Broken up near the 30. Intended for Perry Tuttle. Good defensive play by Ron Hopkins.
What?
Didn't get it away very well. He has that average that you see there and a boomer once of 57 yards. He's back near his own goal line. Rome and Allen back to receive. It's going toward Allen at his 51. Up over midfield, down the sidelines, and out of bounds. Mark Moore is getting to him near the Winnipeg 45. And Johnson goes to work. Up in behind his center, Bob Poley, the veteran center. Pitches it back to Allen. Allen has room, drives over the right side. Fumble! The Bombers have recovered it. And it's James Jefferson who has the ball back at the 20-yard line.
You could almost see when he was going inside, the Bomber defense turned him inside, and he took a hit from the side, and that ball popped free. I want to see this guy run. Cal Murphy tells me he is really fast. Let's take a look at it. Just a simple toss play to Allen. See great figure blocking. Winnipeg turns him in. Now the hit comes right there. Number 58, James West, makes the hit. Number 20, Jefferson picks it up.
And Jefferson is chased way back before they get him around the 21-yard line. Emmanuel Tull.
Well, what a story James Murphy has been this year for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. First 3 games of the season, over 100 yards in each game, going after number 4. If he gets 100 yards tonight, I think 8 other people have done that in the CFL. He'll enter the record books. And I'll tell you, that's a heck of a start for a guy. James West. We know he can run. He has great speed. Moved to the inside linebacker position this year. Always been outside until the Bombers moved in where the action is.
2nd and 1 goes to Reeves. He's got the first down driving over the right side. Bernie Morrison, the University of Manitoba product, who's been 9 years here with the Calgary Stampeders, put the tackle on.
Willie Reeves, as we said, off to the slow start, yet he has 178 yards in 3 games, but that puts him about 122 yards behind of where he wants to be. He wants 100 every game, as every good running back does, and then right now he's up around that, as you see, 60 yards. They just haven't got that offense generated both ways. The passing game is good.
At the 33 of Winnipeg, Clements will throw the hitch screen to the left side. Tuttle bobbles it. Then he squeezes it and gets up over the 40. Maybe the 41. Harold Hallman in on the stop.
We got a flag down.
Penalty marker.
I really believe we're going to get a holding call against, I think, number 73, Randy Faby, I think is going to be the guy that's called for it. It may not be. It could be number 39, I think, Sean Kehoe.
We'll see what Ken Lazarick has to say. He's going to march it off against Winnipeg.
Holding. Winnipeg, number 39. First down repeated.
Sean Kehoe, the culprit, and it'll be 1st and 20 for the Bombers when they scrimmage at their 23-yard line.
Right here, number 39 has got his right arm on the back of the jersey of Richie Hall, and he's holding on with his right hand, and it's right in front of that official.
Clements calls signals. And to Reeves over the left side, up over the 30. Hallman gets him again. Woodson also in there from the roving linebacker spot for Calgary. And Darcy Kopp, another University of Calgary graduate. Good spiral this time by Cameron. Rome comes up, lets it bounce. Now he's got it at the 30. And goes out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Richard Nemeth leading the tacklers downfield for the Blue Bombers. There's no score in this football game. We'll be back at Winnipeg Stadium very shortly.
And it's nice to see him get on the roster.
Black getting his first game tonight. So is Sturdivant. So is the Blue Bomber deep back, Jefferson. All right, Calgary going to work. Johnson at the controls again. Starting at his own 19-yard line. Hand off to Allen over the left side. Penalty markers all over the place.
I believe Winnipeg's
West
a little bit
from the
impatient.
linebacker spot.
Willard Reeves getting his ankle taped. Either he sprained it a little bit or his shoe's too loose, one or the other. Well, they're going to do them both, so maybe no big deal.
Waiting to hear the call from field level here as we wait for it to be sorted out on the penalty.
That's
Leader procedure, 54 Calgary, decline, second down.
Bombers decline the penalty. Nessie wasn't bad in front of you, eh?
well, I'll take him every game out there. You want him.
Johnson back to throw, looks, fires, complete, and it's a loose football. Oh, they're going to wave it off. He didn't have a hold of it long enough. Greg Feger, the receiver. Scott Flagel put the quick hit on him, and he dropped it right away.
Control.
Kicking situation. Harper gets it away. High, wobbly putt to Jefferson at the Winnipeg 48. Cross midfield, driving to the 49 of Calgary. Darcy Kopp downfield for the tackle on James Jefferson.
Interesting story on James Jefferson. They were telling me that the other day at practice, they were practicing blocking field goals, and he came through, and when Trevor Kennard kicked it, he caught it in midair and kept right on going the other way. Now, I don't know how many people have ever tried that, but that is very, very hard to do.
14-yard return by Jefferson after a 41-yard punt by Harper. The Bombers have it at the Calgary 48. Clements looking to throw on first down. The screen is complete. It goes nowhere. James Walker coming in very quickly to stop Reeves.
Screen.
Bombers up over the ball without a huddle. Clements back to throw quickly to the left side. Grabbed by Erdman, but it's a question of Hall moving in very swiftly with Hopkins to limit that to just 2 or 3 yards. And the Bombers will be 3rd and long with the ball at the 45 of Calgary.
Give us the ball.
Darcy Kopp goes back along with Tag Rome. Cameron Booting from about midfield. A beauty. Into the end zone. Kopp is going to run around down there. And we have our first score of the football game. The Blue Bombers have moved into a 1-0 lead with 3 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the first quarter. We'll be back from Winnipeg Stadium.
Peter defense will get after you. They'll put the pressure on Clements, and they know that's what they have to do to win.
The Stampeders 2-2, the Blue Bombers 1-2, and a crowd in the neighborhood of 27,000 here to watch tonight. On first down, Toner goes in motion left. It's a handoff coming to the left side with Allen carrying. He's tripped up and falls to about the 39. James West, one of those key Blue Bomber inside linebackers, making the stop. Tolbert come out to the left side. Second down. Johnson fires, and it's complete to Alexander. He's got the first down near midfield. Darrell Patterson back to make the stop, but that moves the yardsticks for the Stampeders. Ray Alexander from Florida A&M. Of course, he had some NFL experience, 2 or 3 tries, as a matter of fact, before he came up to Canada last year.
Downfield.
First down on the Winnipeg side of midfield. Penalty markers down. Allen carrying the ball, but very likely the Bombers jumped offside.
They had a safety blitz coming. They had James Jefferson coming on a safety blitz inside. Oh, no, they're going to call
correction.
it.
Somebody moved on the Calgary front.
We're going to get a discussion here. Poley's up there. We'll find out what happened.
Rome wide right. Alexander to the left. Tolbert and Toner also out left. Johnson hands off to Allen. No, lots of running room. Driving up the middle. Could have a first down. Patterson getting a hold of him as he crossed the 45 of Winnipeg.
A good job and a well-executed play. When you see these linebackers drop out of here the way they do, the linemen allow these to come in and then watch the hole, and we get the 3 linemen coming up upfield to block. Now we'll take a look at the linebackers drop out. Now that allows the linemen to get to them. You saw Tom Spallettini make the first block on James West. Foley should be up there. Good job of running.
12-yard gain, first down, Calgary. Back goes Johnson again, looking, fires! In between Alexander downfield and Tolbert. And it goes incomplete at the 15 of Winnipeg. Less than 50 seconds to go in the first quarter, and Calgary now threatening. Gary Allen to the right. He's going to be dropped away back. Delbert Fowler. Fowler, a 6-year pro, 6'2", 215 from West Virginia. Went down to Green Bay last year in the NFL, didn't make it there, and came back here.
Watch him play this. He just hangs right here, and when the guard comes, he doesn't commit himself, and then he'll escape outside to make the tackle. You see Spallettini comes out to block him. Now he hangs and then beats him across the line of scrimmage to make the tackle. That's good defense.
2-yard loss. Second and 12. Johnson looking to the left, fires it toward the sidelines. He's got Alexander, and he's wrapped up by David Shaw. Very close to first down territory near the Winnipeg 16. This ball game, Bob Cameron getting that one on a good booming single into the end zone. The defenses, as we said, doing their job, right?
Yeah, I think Winnipeg's spreading offensively, but what I like about Calgary, they never try to run too many plays. I think Coach Vespasiani's taken the approach, let's have a few, maybe 9 plays, but let's execute. And they're executing pretty well today, and they got a shot to put it in the end zone.
Bombers still having trouble. Looks a little bit like a replay of Hamilton at this point anyway.
Well, I didn't have the opportunity to see that one, but I'll tell you, it couldn't have been good when you turn the ball over 9 times.
Bombers are pressed back to their own 16-yard line as the Stampeders will get ready to roll. And we'll see if Johnson can move them in here as play gets underway in this second quarter of the football game. All right, the Stampeders break the handle, come up over the football. First and 10 at the 16. Alexander to the right and Rome left. It's a handoff over to Allen, trying to go, goes nowhere. Crosses the 15. Hassan Abubakar in there.
If it holds true, it could get it a little bit interesting.
Johnson on the second and long. Back to throw, backpedaling, throws it into the end zone. Is he intercepted? No, they call it an incomplete pass. Tyrone Jones had a pretty good clutch on it in the end zone, and who knows, maybe somebody got a hand in there and knocked it loose.
That's a good job by Tyrone Jones. Again, they want to blitz. That means everybody's going. That forces Tyrone Jones to take Gary Allen one-on-one, and the ball's underthrown. It's an underthrown pass, and he should have intercepted it, but Gary Allen made a good defensive play.
Tyrone really just had one hand on it, mate.
That's right. Good job of defense by Gary Allen. They switch roles.
J.T. Hay is out there. Johnson will hold for him, and the field goal try will come from an angle at the 21-yard line. It's up there, and it's good. J.T. Hay from 21 yards out has moved the Calgary Stampeders into the lead. He puts them on the scoreboard. Been sputtering along, and it takes over at the Winnipeg 35. Clements on a quick count. Rowley throwing deep downfield for Murphy. He can't get it. Near the 48-yard line of the Stampeders. On second down, the ball still at the 35. Clements connects this time, and Kehoe drops the ball. He may have turned to run just a little too quick. Bob Cameron back to do the kicking for Winnipeg. Allen and Rome back. Here's the boot. Bounces down around the 40-yard line. Rome picks it up at the 33. He's grabbed immediately by Richard Nemeth. The football at about the 31-yard line when we come back here to Winnipeg Stadium. Calgary leading at this point 3-1 over Winnipeg.
And I know Cal was tough on him.
Calgary has the ball again as play resumes at its 31-yard line. Calgary pass wide to the left. Penalty marker down. Alexander tried to make a diving catch. The ball underthrown.
Well, you saw
but it looks like holding may be the infraction against the Stampeders.
There's no doubt about it. Tyrone Jones was jumping up and down. He was happy. He's the guy that signaled holding, and he started hollering at the guy. I know he has a habit of talking on the field quite a bit and upsets the opposition, but he was right this time.
To the right. Johnson turns, hands off to Allen, and he runs into heavy traffic immediately. Backer is the man who put the stop on, along with Tyrone Jones, near the 22-yard line.
That's a good, safe play to call on a 2nd and 20 situation, or a 1st and 20. Didn't take the chance of throwing it downfield. Now the interesting things to come and see what he comes back with on the 2nd down situation. That 10-yard penalty got him the 1st down. I was a little ahead of myself again.
2nd down, still in the neighborhood of 18 yards to go. Johnson looks to the right, throws, almost intercepted off the fingertips of Roy Bennett, intended for Tag Rome, near the 45-yard line.
What Johnson tries to do, he tries to get that ball into the hole. He's got Jefferson dropping this way, and Bennett dropping here. There will be a hole at the bottom of the screen. Now that's where he's trying to throw the football. You'll see Jefferson getting back deep, then coming into the screen. He's throwing it in the hole, but look at the recovery. Bennett recovered better than Tag Rome did and should have had the interception.
Harper goes back to kick from his own 9-yard line. Sampson downfield with Jefferson. Harper moves up, and there's his kick. Good spiral. Sampson at the 46, running to the right, grabs, spun around, gets forward, almost at midfield. Ambrosi gets through to bring him down. 47-yard kick by Glenn Harper as Darrell Sampson, the Blue Bomber rookie from York University, brings it back 11 yards. And Tom Clements will get a chance to work again.
And he's got good field position to start with this time. He's only 2 yards from the midfield stripe. You don't get better field position than that. James West. Seems like his name's been on every tackle so far. He's playing well.
At the Winnipeg 53. Clements back, looking left. The hitch screen to Reeves. At the 50, 55, Calgary 50.
Well, they always say a good back should beat you one-on-one in open field, and that's exactly what Willard Reeves had. Clements laid it off to him. Well, watch number 27, Richie Hall. He's going to try to come out and make the tackle on him. He just couldn't get there. You see Hall dropping out. Now it's one-on-one. Bang, he gets inside of him. Now you got to hope that you get some help from the inside. At least he made him go in where the help was. He didn't let him outside.
Ron Hopkins finally got to it. 2nd down at 2, Winnipeg. Reeves again. He's fighting for that 1st down marker. Looks like he might be just a little short of the Stampeders. Kantner and Reeves wait. It goes to Reeves. He dives. 36-yard line. Woodson trying to push it back, of course.
I think he's got it. He went over the top. You get that momentum going frontward as hard as he was going. You have to hit him in midair. He got too far before they were able to get him. They can take it off from here and put it in the end zone.
Calgary leading Winnipeg 3-1. 9 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the first half. Clements, the hitch screen to Murphy. It's good to the 40. Allman brings him down near the 36, and that's very close to a first down. Brian Pillman.
Good job of blocking. Number 71, Joe Poplawski, and Sean Kehoe, number 39. They were the ones that made that play go.
And the yardsticks come out. And they'll check to see if the Bombers can keep this march going. Clements and Morrison looking it over. It's second down. They're short by about 6 inches. Out of the huddle they come. Murphy wide right, Tuttle to the left side. And off to Reeves. Over the right side. Good running room. All the way to the 15-yard line.
That's not bad. The majority of the time, teams run straight ahead on short yardage. This time they hand it off to Reeves to go wide. And when he goes wide, he picks up some good blocks. Let's watch him turn in. I think it's Pat Cantner leads him on his block. You see Nick Mustaya make his. They're down there. Chris Walby, number 63, makes a block. First thing you know, they're down inside the 15-yard line.
Joe Poplawski is an injured Blue Bomber player down on the field, being attended to at the moment. Willard Reeves, you see his stats. The Bombers have it. First and 10 at the 14-yard line of the Stampeders. As Clements will try to drive them in from here. Throwing into the end zone. Nope. Short for Murphy. And they wave it off. Incomplete at the 1-yard line. Poplawski getting a call now from Cal Murphy as he comes in off the Bomber bench. It'll be second down on the incompleted pass.
We told Poplawski to go in and tell him to quit messing around and put it in the end zone.
Randy Faby coming to the sidelines as Murphy uses a messenger system with his slot back. On second and 10 at the 14. Clements looking, throws it up the middle to Reeves at the 10. Looking for room to the 5, fights to about the 4-yard line. Very close to a first down. Jenkins and Hopkins on the stop for Calgary. Let's see where they mark it.
Well, they give them just a straight zone defense down deep. Willard Reeves comes underneath the linebackers, and now it's just his speed and power. Richie Hall misses them. Over there to make the tackle with Woodson. But looks to me like it's third and about a half a yard. So this is a key play right here.
The ball at the 5-yard line. And they're going for it. No hesitation. Winnipeg crowd behind Clements. Reeves again, driving over the left side. Close to the first down. The hold the Blue Bombers. They'll take over at the 4-yard line. The Stampeders lead 3-1.
They're going to build a winner.
On the turnover at the 4-yard line, Calgary going to work now as Toner is in motion right. Handed off to Gary Allen, sweeping the right. Gets to the 10 or 11. Patterson on the stop. He's got a gain of about 6-7 yards. As they move the Blue Bomber defense out on the left side. And they move it a little bit out of the shadow of the goalpost to the 11-yard line. Alexander wide to the right, along with Tolbert. Petros is in there now at the fullback position to block for Allen. Allen is up near the 15. I think he spun forward enough to get the first down before Jefferson put the tackle on him.
Well, he did it.
They're down. They're at their own 15-yard line. Is it a gamble? We'll see. Johnson keeps, dives forward, penalty marker down. Could be Sturdivant on the left side. May have jumped in early for Winnipeg to make it an automatic first down. On the offside. So Calgary gets it, first and 10 at its 19-yard line. Pass is good. Alexander, did he hang on to it? David Shaw may have pulled that football out of his hands. Alexander really didn't have any control on it as he put the on the field to do the booting for Calgary. 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the half. Darrell Sampson, the only Bomber receiver back here for this kick. Harper back around the 5-yard line. They're going to go to try to block it, but Harper has lots of time to get it away. Sampson at his 36 to his left. And up in the vicinity of the 47, 48-yard line. And that's where the Bombers will take over there with their offense on the field. 3-1 Calgary when we come back to Winnipeg Stadium. Complete to Murphy at midfield, and he is really toppled at the 54. Mel Jenkins coming in with a great tackle on Murphy to hold him short of a first down.
Well, they haven't blitzed very often, but watch Woodson is going to take the gap between the guard and tackle. He's going to come through clean, but the problem is Tom Clements sees it coming. Now he gets out of there and he's able to get rid of the football, running away from the line of scrimmage, and then Murphy makes the rest happen. He catches it and forces Jenkins to bring him down.
Jenkins is injured over there, Ron. James Murphy with 3 catches tonight for 27 to pad his fine average. He has caught 31 for 450 going into this ballgame. Position. The Bombers on 2nd and 1. Reeves grabbed by Morrison, fights to about the 49-yard line. He has the first down. Reeves with that good acceleration, but Morrison got a hold of his shoulders and brought him down. It's to go in the first half of the ball game. Winnipeg on the attack. Clements looking. He's got Faby open, and he's out of bounds. Richie Hall in on the stop, getting Faby very quickly. Putting him out of bounds near the 41-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders. Stampeders with a 2-point lead as we near the end of the first half here at Winnipeg Stadium. Satisfy the defense that has been doing its job here tonight. Clements has his team up over the ball. Murphy wide right and Tuttle to the left, but the handoff is to Reeves up the middle, looking for running to about the 35. Should have the first down before James Walker put the tackle on.
Just a good job of running, good execution by the offensive line. On that time, Richard Nemeth pulls and he leads Willard Reeves in there. But they got a lot of time and they're on the 35. There's no reason for them to hurry, and Tom Clements can use the clock. He knows what he's doing.
Out of the huddle they come. Tuttle to wide to the left. Faby and Poplawski are the slapbacks. Kehoe and Reeves, and it's Reeves over the right side, breaks the first tackle, but not the second. Penalty marker down. Brian Pillman made the stop near the 32-yard line. Nick Bastaya signaling that Calgary may have been offside. Willard Reeves carrying the mail for the Bombers. And referee Ken Lazarek marks off the penalty against Calgary. First down over again. With the ball at the 30-yard line, 1st and 5 now after the offside. 2 minutes, 22 seconds to halftime. Looking down the middle, Clements throws, almost intercepted. Woodson had it in his hand. Oh my. Intended for Perry Tuttle, the wide receiver, and a near interception.
Well, all they do is send Faby out in the flat and bring Tuttle on a slant, but you're going to see number 96, Woodson, is in perfect position for, that's exactly where he's got to get to take that away. Very a little disappointed in himself. He could have snuffed out that drive in a hurry.
Second down, still 5, Winnipeg. Clements gets it incomplete. Tuttle near the 20, juggled it, couldn't squeeze it. That would have been a first down, Winnipeg.
Well,
now it's third down.
You've got to catch those kind. There's just nothing you can do about it. Watch, the linebackers will blitz. Now, when they blitz, there'll be nothing underneath, and watch him throw the ball just as well as you can throw it. He'll bring Tuttle right back into the hole. You'll see no linebackers when the ball's in the air. You have to catch that one. There's no way you can drop that football. It hits you right in the numbers.
Yep. Joe Poplawski is out there to try what could be a field goal. Now, Poplawski, in his younger days, was a pretty good soccer player.
We've been watching Trevor Kennard, and we said he got that back injured on the opening kickoff, and he immediately went and put the ice bag on it. He's had that jacket on the whole half. He might be finished for the day.
Poplawski is their backup placement kicker. Bob Cameron, I think, also can do some. Well, let's see what Joe Pop can do now. It's been a long time since he put a toe to the football.
I was just thinking that. I don't think I have ever seen him kick a football. I know he was a soccer player, but I've never seen it.
He was the author of a very famous kickoff that the Bombers recovered late in the ball game in Ottawa.
In Ottawa, right.
In his early years. Cameron will pin this ball at the 37-yard line. And Poplawski is going to try put it through there. Crowd giving him all kinds of encouragement. It'll come from the 38. It's far enough.
Nothing to it.
Joe Poplawski, a 38-yard field goal. Look at Joe, how he feels about it all.
Nothing to it, just step through it. He's going to tell him, I only want the long ones. He said, that was too easy.
He's thinking to himself, I've got a longer career in the offing now. Maybe I could do something else. But obviously, Trevor Kennard must have suffered an injury early when he was piled on after Ron Lancaster told you in the very first play of the ball game on the kickoff, the Bombers attempted to recover it. It did. Kennard was the man who sprawled on the ball with a lot of bodies on top of him, and he could have injured his hip. But Joe Poplawski comes through to get a 38-yard field goal and gives the Bombers a 4-3 lead in the game. Is Poplawski going to kick off? Yes, that's the question. Nope, Joe's on the sidelines.
The report we get is Kennard may not return and probably won't return the rest of the evening from that opening kickoff pileup.
Looks like Randy Faby is going to do the actual kickoff here for the Bombers. So a real juggling process.
You see all the talent of these guys. Got a lot of talent on that football club.
Versatile, I guess. Faby is going to kick it with his left foot, high and over in. Take it on the 23-yard line. Bringing it back is Hopkins. He gets to about the 33. Vernon Paul downfield to make the tackle for the Bombers, who now have picked up a 1-point lead on the field goal. Well, you can appreciate a lot of things in a football game. And, of course, a very popular figure over the years here in Winnipeg has been Joe Poplawski. And when he came through with that one, the crowd really reacted.
Oh, yeah, you know, they always like to see something a little different, and Poplawski kicked it through with no problem.
And fake play action, pass down the middle, too high, intended for Toner. Ken Haley right with him on the coverage. Johnson throwing high and wide. And it'll come back
down. He's going to hit that one.
Second and 10. The ball is loose. Bombers have recovered it. But they may call that one an incomplete pass. Ty Jones put the hit on. The Bombers recovered it. Sturdivant, the man there who recovered, but they're calling it an incomplete pass. Ronnie?
Well, here we come. James West, Tyrone Jones. West will take the inside. He gets blocked, but watch the hit coming from the outside by number 35, Ty Jones. You see him pick up James West. Down he goes, but number 35 hits him. The referee ruled the hand was in motion, therefore it's incomplete. And the Bombers with a 1:55 on the clock This is a great time to use your hurry-up 2-minute offense. They got some time to score.
Sampson and Jefferson back near the 25-yard line. Harper just gets it underway. Going over to the far side. Taken back by Sampson near the 33-yard line. Spolatini downfield to make the tackle, and the Blue Bomber offense with 1:45 will try to do something here in the late stages of this second quarter. Clements still at the controls for Winnipeg. You see his stats on the ball game. Back to throw. Looks down the middle. Fires Tuttle. Spun around. Still going. Oh, and he is. Pillman coming back with the hit on him, along with Jenkins at the 50 of Winnipeg. First down.
The best thing that happened to Tuttle is when he went down, because Pillman may have hit him. He may have really hammered him. Now they're in their hurry-up offense.
Minute 36 to go. No huddle. First down at the 50. Hand off to Reeves. Up the middle. Crosses midfield. Dives to the 52. Woodson tripping him up. About an 8-yard. Clements calling his automatic or audible at the line of scrimmage. Looking to throw. Finding nobody open. He fires it. Intended for Joe Poplawski, but overthrown down near the 25-yard line. I think he was looking for a short receiver on that one, Ron.
Yeah, it had to be a pattern to one of his wide outs, and Tuttle and Murphy didn't stop. I think he wanted him to get that first down and stop, and he didn't. And Cal Murphy turned around and kicked the ground. He wasn't too happy about it.
Not at all, as the punting unit comes out there for Winnipeg. Kopp and Rome will go back near their own 15-yard line. And Bob Cameron is at the Winnipeg 43 with 1:16 to go in the first half. Wobbly punt. Kopp takes at the 16, spun around and thrown back to the 15. Vernon Paul leading the Bomber tackling brigade. Scott Flagel, the first man there. It'll be first down. And with 1:08 to go, Calgary has some time here. Cameron and Kopp actually lost 1 yard on the return. Johnson will turn, rolling left. Throws deep downfield for Tolbert. He grabs it near the 50-yard line of the Bombers.
Well, sure, he'll be careful. He'll just come out and throw it 50 yards downfield. There was nothing to that. Tolbert got behind him, and he laid it in there. Good catch by Tolbert.
Right between two Winnipeg defenders. Super pickup on the play, 45 yards. Moves it to the Winnipeg 50-yard line, and still 1 minute to go. Fine pass and a great catch over there by Tolbert. Johnson again. Throws to Allen at the 50. 45 to the 44 of the Bombers. He gets about 6 yards. 2nd and 5 at the 44. Johnson looks to the right. Throws off the mark at the Winnipeg 35-yard line. Intended for Tag Rome. And couldn't connect up with the little wide receiver. Rome is a 3-year pro from Northeast Louisiana. He had 12 receptions for 204 yards going into the ball game. Scott Flagel looks to the sideline to see what kind of instruction he's going to get here from the Bomber coaching staff, as J.T. Hay is there to attempt a field goal. It will come from about the 51-yard line.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt. The signal I saw is get it out of there with 46 seconds left. Don't give him anything.
If he misses it, Bombers have jumped the gun. Whistling down.
I want to watch this call. It's an interesting call. See if they call the Bombers offside. If they do, I think it's a bad call. Calgary moved. You betcha they did.
Yep. Procedure against Calgary, and that will move it back 5 yards. And will mean that the field goal try, if they're going to make one, will come from about the 56 yards out rather than 51.
Legal procedure. Calgary. 3rd down repeated. Why can't we go?
Holy is questioning that with Lazarek. So is Vespasiani.
Poli, it wasn't Poli. It was the guys on the end of the line in the backfield. They don't have to be set, and just before the snap, Greg Figure moved real quick, and that's what threw him offside.
Well, Coach Vespasiani is not going to go for a field goal from 56 yards out. He's got his rookie punter from Washington State, Glenn Harper, out there. Harper goes back to about his 46-yard line. Jefferson deep along with Sampson. It's a good high spiral into the end zone. Sampson will try to get it out of there. He does. All the way to the 13-yard line, and still 35 seconds to go in this second quarter.
Yeah, we're going to get a flag on the field, too. I don't know which one it's going to be, but it's going to be an illegal block. Let's see if it's not number 24. I think it was Ken Haley. That's a good return, though, by Sampson.
Yeah.
He got it out from about 3 yards deep, got it out about 18 yards, but this is going to cost him half the distance. We'll see what the referee has to say.
Looked like they might have been able to pin him in there, but he came out.
Legal block, number 33, Winnipeg. First out.
Oh, Pat Cantner did it.
Yeah. Blocking below the waist, maybe.
The top left of the frame is where Cantner is, but
well,
really
Sampson
tell.
was also in there, of course, for Jefferson. All right, the Bombers take over with 35 seconds to go. Will Reeves driving up the middle, crosses the 15, and he's up near the 20. Richie Hall coming in on the stop. Quarter. And it's a first down, Winnipeg, as they move the yardsticks and have the ball at their own 16-yard line. He's got Murphy out to the right and Tuttle to the left. Pitches it back to Reeves. Reeves drives forward over the 20. Pillman in on the stop for Calgary. 85 of that 100-yard target that he looks for each game. And the Bomber veteran, of course, has been something of a workhorse here for them in the first half tonight. There certainly hasn't been a great deal to write home about by way of offense for either team. And as we mentioned earlier, Joe Poplawski moving in and kicking that 38-yard field goal had to be the special feature of this first half at Winnipeg Stadium. Reeves, the only setback. He takes a delayed handoff. Looks for running room over left tackle and crosses the 25-yard line. And still 8 seconds to go.
I don't think they'll kick the football.
No, one more play. Of course, the Bombers can run out the clock here on this final play. They're going to measure for the position of the yardsticks to see if the Bombers have a first down here in the dying seconds of the second quarter here at Winnipeg Stadium. And they've got the first down. Play of the first half, barring a penalty. As Tommy Clements will go back to throw. Or no. He'll run forward and he sprawls to the 32-yard line. As the gun goes to end the first half of this football game, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have a 1-point lead, 4-3 over the Calgary Stampeders at halftime. We go now to Don Martin at CFL control. Slight margin in their favor, but in passing it really hasn't been an exceptionally good game for either football club. At this point, a margin, of course, that favors the Winnipeg Blue Bombers because Joe Poplawski was pressed into the breach, and he went out there with Trevor Kennard injured on the very first play of the football game. When he actually recovered his opening kickoff, Poplawski was brought on in the late stages of the second quarter, and he came through with a 38-yard field goal that gave the Bombers the 1-point margin that they enjoy. J.T. Hay actually kicked a 21-yard field goal for Calgary to make it close, and Bob Cameron had a 52-yard single. We'll be back, and we hope with more exciting highlights in the second half of this open up in the second half. The sputtering Blue Bomber attack, it's got to go somewhere. But look at here, Randy Faby practicing over in the training ground.
You know, I've been in football a long time, but the first time I've ever seen one player like Randy Fabian is out on the Bomber practice field while the rest of the team's in the locker room being talked to by the coach. He's practicing kickoffs. I've never seen that before.
Well, I don't think he actually had prepared for that kind of a situation. And certainly, I guess the Bombers were not prepared for a situation that would see them, of course, with Trevor Kennard on the sideline. But Kennard is on the sidelines, injured on the very first play of the ball game when he recovered his own kickoff. And, of course, since then, the Bombers have been trying to get their offense in gear, trying to get into the end zone. They came down to the 4-yard line in the second quarter at one point, but a super Calgary defensive move denied them a chance to go in for the score. And so they're nursing this 1-point lead, 4-3, and certainly a far cry from the two previous games that we recall these teams having played in the last 2 years here at Winnipeg Stadium, when the Calgary Stampeders were simply blown out, as the Bombers beat them 46-8 in 1984 here, and then 43-6 in the game played here between the clubs last year. The Bombers, of course, have been nearly invincible here at Winnipeg Stadium over the last recent years. They had a 16 straight regular season winning streak going until Edmonton cut it off at one point last year. The second half is underway as Jefferson muffed the football down around the 15-yard line. It went out of bounds. I don't know whether he fielded it. It looks like he did. They're going to mark it right there. Jefferson had his hands on the football before it went out of bounds. If it had gone out without touching the Bomber returner, of course, they'd have had to kick it over again. So that could be called a miscue to start the second half of the ball game, as Tom Clements will go out there and try to get something going for the Blue Bombers with a 4-3 lead. The Bombers moving from the south end of Winnipeg Stadium in this third quarter. And very little wind now a factor. Here is Will Reeves carrying the ball again. Breaks over the right side, crosses the 25-yard line. And he's got a first down. It was Peterson who come in there from the safety position to stop him, trip him up. But he moves the yardsticks on the very first play.
Just a quick toss and then allow him to run. And what he does, the thing that I like is he carried the ball 13 times in the first half or 14, whatever that was. The running backs love to carry the ball. The longer they carry it, the better they get.
Penalty marker goes down immediately as Clements completes the pass to Tuttle. He's up around the 41-yard line, but this could be nullified. Might be a procedure penalty against the Blue Bombers. Offside. It'll nullify the play. Pass to Tuttle. Tuttle comes wide left again, and James Murphy is out to the right side. Reeves has lots of room, but it closes quickly as he drives up the middle. Woodson moving in from the rover linebacker position to stop him. Big in check thus far.
Woodson is, 224 pounds. He roams. He's got great speed in there. He'll be in on most of the plays.
Clements fires down the middle. He completes it to Murphy. Hopkins brings him down at the 45-yard line. The Bombers move the yardsticks. A good play to Murphy.
That's the best play they've had tonight, is when they clear Poplawski and the other inside receiver, whether it's Fabian or Erdman, clear it out and then allow Tuttle and Murphy to come to the inside. And again, that's what they do. This time Murphy makes the catch. That's been their best passing play so far.
A 20-yard pickup for James Murphy to the 45. Running play again, a counter to the right side. Reeves tripped up as he broke across the 47-yard line. We're going to go down east to CFL control to get our deep upfield to receive as the Winnipeg punter tries to put this one down deep, and he gets a high spiral. To Kopp on the 14. Forward to about the 17, 18. Vernon Paul gets him near the 20-yard line. With 11 minutes and 43 seconds to go in the third quarter of the ball game, the Blue Bombers still have that 1-point lead here at Winnipeg Stadium. In that championship game and championship year for the Dinosaurs. All right, we're back to the live action, and up the middle is Petrus, who drives forward. There's a penalty marker down. Tim Petrus moving forward and came very close to a first down. Petrus, of course, we're talking about Dinosaur grads. He was the most valuable player in the 1983 Vanier Cup game. Penalty marker down and an injured ball player as well. As Johnson comes up over the football. And these offenses are going to have to get something going here soon. Terry Allen driving over the left side. Short yardage. Abu Bakr in on the stop for Winnipeg.
Sometimes
To zero in on him in any way, shape, or form. So back deep is Sampson all by himself with his punt, and it's a wobbly one by Harper. Comes down on the 50. Sampson is thrown back to the Winnipeg 45-yard line. Yelarenko downfield to lead the Calgary tacklers. It was a 43-yard kick by Harper. Sampson bringing it back to the Winnipeg 47-yard line. Defensive line.
Well, this Calgary team is tough, offensively and defensively. They play well together. I think they're going to be a good football team before this season's over.
Here goes Clements throwing on the run. Completes it to Poplawski. He's into Calgary territory all the way to the 45. Bernie Morrison coming back to get him from behind. That'll move the yardsticks.
This is one of the things Cal Murphy was talking about, getting those inside receivers involved. We see Joe Poplawski just a quick out, then he breaks it back inside, gets a good block, picks it up. But their inside receivers have only caught 10 passes in 2 games. That's not enough.
1st and 10. Willard Reeves on the pitch back. Has good. Down to the 30, 25, 20. Richie Hall. And Peterson downfield to get him. But a big gainer for Willard Reeves, 24 yards for the first down.
Well, it's just a toss play. Now watch number 39, Sean Kehoe, throw the block on Larry Hogue, and that allows him to break back to the outside, and then they got to come get him. Willard Reeves having a big night. This is what he's been wanting, and this is what Winnipeg has wanted. Now, Coach Vespasiani doesn't want it, but sometimes you got to put up with it.
Well, let's see if the Bombers can finish it out. Here he goes again to the short side of the field. Stampeders pile him up near the 13-yard line. Peterson again.
They just took a little lesson from the defense. If it worked once, do it again. They come back with the same play, and it's another 7-8-yard gain. Bombers are marching. The last time they got down here, remember, those Stampeder defense shut them down at the 5, and they're going to have to come up with a big play again. 7-yard rushing average for Reeves. Give him the ball every time if he's going to run for 7.
Lyle Bauer and Chris Walby up front doing the blocking. Ahead of Will Reeves. 2nd down, 2 yards to go. The ball at the 14 of the Stampeders. Clements hasn't gone to the air too much today. He's relied on this workhorse right here. And he should have the first down near the 10-yard line.
Again, right behind Chris Walby again.
Yep.
Just a little cross action, no big deal. Just you take it and run. And when you get a guy like Walby at 290 pounds, he'll open you a hole.
Kehoe comes out and Kantner comes in with the play for Clements, and they've lost the ball on downs in the 2nd quarter. Poplawski in motion right. Clements in that direction. Into the end zone. Touchdown!
That was a great route by James Murphy. He tried to go deep, and he was being covered extremely well, so he just stopped and turned around. Clements hit him right on the numbers.
James Murphy with his 4th touchdown of the year. And look at it here. He didn't have much room on the sidelines over there as Mel Jenkins was right with him. But Murphy was there, and Poplawski is out there to try for the extra point. Trevor Kennard injured early in the ball game for Winnipeg. And it's good. Poplawski's extra point and Murphy's touchdown has given the Blue Bombers an 8-point lead here in the 3rd quarter of this ball game at Winnipeg Stadium. The Bombers have won a lot of football games in the last couple of years here at Winnipeg Stadium with good offense. And the crowd here tonight, they've been waiting to see something like this develop. And this time Clements drove them in, and on this play, he picked out his stellar wide receiver in the end zone, and he had just a little bit of room before he stepped out of bounds, but enough for the first touchdown of the ball game. And the Bombers have moved into their 11-3 lead after Joe Poplawski added the extra point. James Murphy the man of the hour here in Winnipeg in terms of pass receiving. And the man who was practicing kickoffs during the halftime intermission, Randy Faby, is there to do it for Winnipeg. Here it comes, a left-footed kickoff coming downfield, taken by Hopkins at his 30. Fights his way through a hole there in the crowd of tacklers, and Darrell Patterson gets him near the 50-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders. Scott Flagel also in on the tackle.
Well, that's a good place for them to start. You know, they're halfway down the field, right in midfield around the 50-yard line. Rick Johnson can get him going. As you see, he's having a little trouble throwing a football tonight, but I think you always have trouble when you play Winnipeg. They get the pressure on you, and then when you got the pressure, you're not as accurate.
Two Stampeders are this week's Pacific Western Stars of the week. One of them right here, quarterback Rick Johnson fires up the middle to Toner, who breaks the first tackle by West and has a first down near the Winnipeg 46-yard line. He's a big man, that youngster from Saskatoon, Ron.
He sure did.
Yard pickup, first down for Johnson and Calgary. And they're in Winnipeg territory now. He turns, hands off. Allen over the right side, breaks the first tackle, and then runs into heavy traffic near the 40-yard line. Flagel in on the stop for Winnipeg, along with Patterson. Alexander and Tolbert go wide to the left side. Toner and Rome out to the right. Now Toner comes back in, the handoff up the middle, again to Allen. He's picked up by Abu Bakr as he crossed the 36-yard line. Close to first down country, depending on the mark. Looks like he might be just a little bit short.
It's a good...
And Calgary's Harold Hallman drew an honorable mention on defense. Third down, a foot to go, Calgary. Trying to sustain this march. Johnson comes up and checks the Bomber defense. And he just dives straight forward behind his center. And there's a penalty marker down that, well, it looks like it could be against the Bombers, so that'll make it automatic. Foley and Spolatini and Smith doing along with Allen for Calgary. Petrus takes it, goes straight up the middle, crossing about the 28-yard line where Mikko has put the stop on from his nose guard position. And it'll be a gain of about 3 yards for Tim Petrus, the fullback for Calgary. Stampeders moving very methodically down into scoring range after the Bombers had scored on the touchdown pass to James Murphy. Johnson up behind his center, drops back, looks to the right side and throws it into the turf. And he just walks away in personal disgust. He knew he underthrew Allen very badly, and that one just... J.T. Hay will try this placement from the 35-yard line. Johnson to pin it down. David Shaw is deep in the end zone. The kick is wide to the left side and goes right through the end zone. That will go for a single point. J.T. Hay has cut the lead to 11-4, with the Blue Bombers leading here in the third quarter of the ball game as they try to improve on their 1-2 record.
Calm, cool, and collected, and I think that this is rubbing off on his ball team. They don't do a lot of things, but what they do well.
Coach told us before the ball game, Ron, that they really like and want to get themselves up at home.
Well, this will be good.
Here's Murphy with a reverse on Clemens, sweeping the right side, zigging and zagging, and he gets his way through to about the 45-yard line. Peterson brought him down there, very close to a first down on the end around to James Murphy.
That's a very interesting play. Clemens comes out here like he's on an option. Now Willard Reeves goes from his fullback's position deep, and James Murphy comes in here. Now he can either pitch it or run with it. In this case, he tries to run with it. But watch, here comes Clemens, little fake. Now Willard Reeves swings out, tosses to Murphy. He's got an option man. He's going to keep it. So Willard Reeves goes up and does what he's supposed to. He blocked two guys. Did a good job.
He got 10 yards on a first down. Clemens rolls left, throwing deep downfield, trying to get it to Tuttle. Knocked down. Murphy, correction, is the receiver downfield, and Hopkins made a fine move to bat that one away.
The other side.
That's right. That's where he's gone, to the right side. And it's Tuttle who comes left on this 2nd and 10 at the Winnipeg 45. Handoff to Reeves as they tried to set up a draw play, but Woodson was not fooled for a moment. came from the University of Hawaii. All right, Bob Cameron from Acadia University to do the booting for Winnipeg. Hoists it up there, coming down toward Allen, bounces in front of him, takes a Calgary bounce as Allen finally retrieves it near the 43, and then is thrown back by James West.
I think that
Bob Johnson coming up in behind his center. Allen over the middle, and he's tripped up immediately. West and Patterson close to the play. It was West who made the tackle.
they're going to the hurry-up offense now, not allow Winnipeg to call their defense, try to get them off balance a little bit. Johnson just calls the signals there, see what it works for them.
4-yard gain on the play by Allen. Johnson looking left, throws down the middle, complete to Alexander. He is really belted by Flagel, but he hangs on to the football.
Good call, good execution. You hate to see a guy get hurt like that, but Marshall Toner goes out in the flat, and then Alexander upfield about 4 yards, and then a slant. Now he'll make the catch, but watch the hit he takes. He makes the catch. Now Scott Flagel's waiting on him, and he drills him. He was going down, being tripped up a little bit by David Shaw, and then Scott Flagel finished him.
Scott Flagel, of course, the man who made Paul Bennett expendable in the Blue Bombers secondary a couple of years ago, and he has certainly produced for the local team, and he certainly came up with a tremendous hit. He's a local product from Winnipeg who went to Arizona Western. Rob Bresciani, I guess that's
Rob
it.
Bresciani.
He's the man who will come in for Alexander.
From Regina. We're going to get a look at this. Here, we said all they do is this. Marshall Toner will go out in the flat. Alexander will go up, and he runs a slant. When you catch the football, this is the most dangerous man on the field, and you'll see why right now. Just a quick slant. There goes Toner out in the flat. That opens up the hole. Johnson throws it in, and then the safety man's on a collision course, and he collided with him pretty good. Something must have happened. We had a 13-point lead to Ottawa last time we heard.
Right. All right, let's see what Johnson does here. Back to throw, looking left, goes deep down the sidelines. Alexander is there, but it's overthrown.
It was a good place to throw it. David Shaw and Ken Haley had him covered pretty well. Just throw it away.
They had the inside angle on him all the way. Johnson to hold it around the Winnipeg 52-yard line. Sampson, the lone receiver. David Shaw, correction, back in the end zone for Winnipeg. There it is. And it's good. A 52-yarder by J.T. Hay. He splits the uprights in fine fashion. And so Winnipeg's lead shrinks to 4 points with the Bombers in front of the Stampeders now 11-7.
I think the big thing is you said it right off the start that the wind was at 15 miles per hour, but supposed to drop as the evening went on. The flags are almost limp. It's a
close ball game, only a 4-point difference with 25 seconds to go in the third quarter. Clements throwing a diving catch near the sideline marker by Tuttle.
Tom Clements will drive you crazy with that pattern.
Yeah.
It's almost unstoppable if it's executed properly. If you throw the ball properly, you'll hit it every time. And Clements, he makes a living with it. And when he can get out from that center, quick as he is, and get rid of the football, he'll drive you nuts.
Well, let's give rookie Ferry Tuttle a salute as well, who came up with that football, diving toward the sidelines to put the latch on. And he has it at the Winnipeg 43-yard line. Second down and 2 to go. It is Reeves taking the handoff. Forward to about the 46-yard line. Hallman in on the stop for Calgary. But that will...
Clements. In fact, Cal Murphy was saying earlier today that we're going to see more and more of Randy Faby because he likes his attitude and likes the way he catches the football.
Big, rangy inside receiver. Clements back to throw. It's pressure. They're going to sack way back at the 35-yard line. James Walker and Hallman in there. Harold Hallman, the two that put the stop on Tom Clements. Drive out in this football game. A pass play to James Murphy. We've just had a 52-yard field goal, and we had earlier one by Joe Poplawski.
Yeah, that's been it. Mostly it's been defense. You know, and on that defensive line with Calgary, we said it's been rebuilt. James Walker went to training camp with Calgary, was released, played with Saskatchewan, and then he was released by them, and he's right back with the Stampeders.
Clements throws into a lot of traffic, and Murphy somehow came up with a catch.
That's a hoper. You throw it in there and hope your guy catches it, because that ball should never be thrown. Tried to set up that screen outside to that flanker that they have so much success with. It's covered. Now he has nowhere to throw it. And this is a hoper. Watch it.
Oh, look at all those bodies around there, and Murphy comes up with it. Jenkins shook up on the play.
That's kind of, I don't know if you noticed, but that's the illegal play. You can't block downfield before the ball's caught. It's supposed to be a screen. Keogh's down there throwing a block.
There were all sorts of bodies coming together on that one. This program is copyright and is strictly for the use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or exhibition in whole or in part without the written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited. On Tom Clements driving him back for the sack as the gun goes to end the third quarter of the football game with a 4-point difference in favor of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We'll be back with the fourth quarter. Where 25,000 people are sitting in here tonight watching as the Blue Bombers have a 4-point lead with 14 minutes of playing time remaining in the fourth quarter. The Bombers also have the football as they take over after, or correction, Calgary has the football as Bob Cameron booted 53 yards, and it was brought back free by Gary Allen while we were away. Through the air tonight. He hands off to Allen. Is grabbed and dropped to the 10. James West once again penetrating from his middle linebacker position to put the tackle on.
We always talk about James West's ability to read and run. Watch him right here. He will sit and then catch Gary Allen in the backfield. That's great defense. See, he's looking. He sees the ball carry, now go get him. And he's got great speed and range, and that's what allows him to do that. He's done that a lot tonight.
The Bombers are proud of their linebacking corps, of course. They feel they have lots of depth and certainly lots of talent. Back to throw. Upfield, incomplete. It was Roy Bennett who put the good defensive move there on to break up that potential reception.
Well, that was good defense because he had Alexander open on that hooker curl pattern, and Bennett come in from the outside and just reached that left hand in front and batted it down.
So Calgary forced to do the booting from their 10-yard line, and the Bombers should get good field position.
You know what's funny, Bob, is after Winnipeg has suffered a loss, they've usually come back the next game and scored about, I think it's an average of 42 points in the next game. If they're going to score 42 tonight, they better get started because this Stampeder defense is not giving them very much.
Harper is in the end zone to do the booting. He gets it away. A short, wobbly punt. Bounces down toward the sidelines and goes out of bounds near the 53-yard line. And Sampson did not get a chance to run that one back. The Bombers have a 4-point lead when we come back to Winnipeg Stadium. Graveyard of a few clubs in the past, Ron. All right, the Bombers break the huddle, come up over the ball. 12 minutes, 49 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Willard Reeves sweep to the right, cuts back in, leapfrogs ahead, and he's near the 40-yard line. Richie Hall and Larry Hogan on the stop for Calgary, but another first down for Willard Reeves.
This has been the best part of their offense tonight is the ground game with Willard Reeves. Long time they've been looking for it. Here comes Lyle Bauer. Here comes Sean Keogh. They both make blocks. Good average. Oh, averaging almost 7 yards every time he touches that football. They get him through there. He'll do the rest.
He's had 156 tonight. He's got it again. Penalty marker down on the field as Reeves went to the Calgary 35. Bertie Morrison and Anthony Woodson in on the stop for the Stampeders. Procedure, however, is going to be called against the Blue Bombers. Game tonight. Tuttle is wide left, Murphy to the right, a passing situation. Clements rolling to the right side. He's going to be forced out of bounds, however. He couldn't get anybody open upfield, and they forced him out near the 45. Down and 14 and a half to go, Winnipeg. Sean Keogh and Reeves are the setbacks, but this is the passing play. Can he get away? from the rush. They grab him and they get him at the 50. James Walker coming through once again. Hallman putting pressure on. James Walker was a football player that Calgary released earlier this year. And Brian Bellway up front for the Stampeders. Here's the boot by Cameron. It's a good one down to Rome, who takes on the goal line, gets out into the field of play, now runs laterally, and then they get him at the 5-yard line.
You know who that was? Number 58, James West. Boy, he loves to hit people in an open field. That was an excellent tackle.
I'm not so sure, of course, that they should have returned that football. He might have been just as well to give up the single point down there. Over at their 5-yard line. Johnson back, looking to throw, has time, fires, intercepted. In for a touchdown. David Shaw. His third career touchdown on interceptions. The 12-year pro, David Shaw, very timely indeed.
Just an unbelievable throw by Rick Johnson. He just flat out threw it right in David Shaw's hand. We're going to get a good look at this because it's thrown right at you. Here's David Shaw. All he will do is just drop back, turn around, and look at the quarterback, and he throws it and hits him right in the chest. Watch now. He just drops back, drop back, drop back. Watch it. Right at him. Now, Rome tries to make the tackle. He escapes, and as you say, 12-year veteran takes it in for the touchdown. That's a big, big touchdown for Winnipeg. Gets in some breathing room.
17-7, and Poplawski will try for the extra point as they congratulate Shaw on the sidelines. The kick is good, and so the Bombers have moved into an 11-point lead on the big interception by David Shaw, returned for a touchdown. We'll be back here from Winnipeg Stadium.
On the hash mark and get it on the field, because coming from the left side on this close hash mark, he's going to hook it a lot of times out of bounds.
The Bombers activated John Sturdivant for tonight's game, along with James Jefferson and David Black. They have two players that were injured during the past week or shortly beyond that, Wiley Turner and Kevin Nealis.
You see what they've done? Baby now has moved the ball from the hash mark to the middle of the field, so to allow for that hook.
All right, let's see how he fares from the 30-yard line this time. There is the kick. This one much better, right down the middle. Taken by Kopp at his own 28, back to the 35. He's running laterally. And he's from behind by Darrell Sampson. Two rookies in the CFL this year on that play. Kopp bringing it back and Sampson making the stop. Ball game played in about 20 below zero temperatures. All right, Calgary has it offensively. 10 minutes, 13 seconds to go, trailing by 11. And off to Allen, sweeping the left side, cuts back. Haley and Shaw grab him near the 49. He'll have a gain of about 5. Down and 5 at the 49. Johnson down the middle, complete to Tunner. He's grabbed short of first down, well, short of midfield, but should have a first down if he gets a good mark on the ball. Catcher making the reception. The pass by Johnson. Back to throw again. On the right side this time. Deep downfield. It's caught near the 20-yard line. Alexander at the 19-yard line.
Well, so many times happens when a receiver is going deep. And again, Roy Bennett was with Alexander stride for stride, but the ball was underthrown. And when Alexander stopped, Bennett kept going. He made the catch. You'll see Roy Bennett had him covered perfectly, but Alexander stopped. Roy Bennett, by the time he stopped and turned around, too late. The ball was in his hands. If they can put it into the end zone here, they're still in good shape. Almost 9 minutes left, but they've got to score.
19-yard line, the Stampeders, after the 36-yard gain on the pass play to Ray Alexander. Johnson looks right again, throws it into the end zone. Alexander's there. Touchdown!
Good timing pattern. You just take off. Roy Bennett comes up and lines up inside of him. Now he's going to come up and line up inside. He's not going to allow him to go inside, so all Alexander does, as we said, Roy will line up here. Now that's going to force Alexander to just run, and all you do is run, and the quarterback will throw it in front of you. He'll lay it over top the defender, lay it to the sidelines, let you go get it. Perfect look at it, and that's all there is to it. You run, I'll lay it to you.
Boy, I'll tell you, 2 quick bombs to that lanky receiver Alexander, and the Stampeders are right back in the ball game. J.T. Hay tries the extra point, and he's got it right through there. And so the Stampeders have cut the lead to 18-14. Still 8 minutes and 26 seconds to go in this ball game. Permanent home at Calgary now with that long-term contract.
I met him last year in the press box before he dressed for a game, and he was just in town.
Sampson on the return for the Bombers to the 30, 35. Look at here, he's up to the 50.
Well, we've been waiting on the offenses to break out. Maybe this is the time.
You betcha. Hogue was the man on the stop, but not before Sampson had returned it to the 50-yard line. A 27-yard return by the rookie from York University. And he has given the Bombers good field position at their own 50. Tom Clements, who has gone all the way at quarterback. Jenkins is back in the ball game at the left corner position for Calgary. Clements rolls left. Penalty marker down as he scrambles around, throws, completes it to Joe Poplawski. He's near the 52 of the Stampeders. Morrison in on the stop for Calgary. We'll see what the penalty infraction is.
It's a holding call against Winnipeg, so that's going to cost them 10. We got a couple guys that collided, making the tackle on Poplawski, and now they're down. Let's see what they do. I know Garrett Dahl's
in there. Yeah.
I want to see what they do at the other place.
Bellway's in there. Yep.
Billman moves inside.
Tom Clements on a long yardage situation. Looks down the middle. Throws complete. Grabbed near the 47-yard line by Pat Kantner, but again a penalty marker goes down.
And again,
a veteran in the Bomber offensive line. Out of the huddle they come, 1st and 30 at the Winnipeg 30. Willard Reed up the middle, crosses the 35. He gets about 7 on the play. Brian Pillman, the other linebacker, got a hold of his leg, brought him.
Football, they're in great shape.
Woodson also back in there now for Calgary as Clements in this key situation. Looks to throw to the sidelines. Murphy cannot get it near the 48-yard line. Almost an interception over there. Hogue and Jenkins were on the coverage.
Good.
Good high snap and lots of time. Very high.
When he needed it.
Good hang time down to the 21-yard line. Rome looking for room. Back to about the 28.
We're going to get a penalty on the play, and there was no doubt about it. It was an illegal block.
The score is 18-14. The Bombers in the lead, and we'll have a penalty when we come back.
Back, and the referee caught him and puts him back to about the 20.
Johnson leading the Stampeders. Throws on the run, and he completes it up the sidelines. Toner out of bounds. Delbert Fowler over there forcing him out. Lots of time to do something about the 4-point deficit. Rome comes wide left. And they flood the right side with 3 potential receivers. Now Toner goes in motion. Hand off to Allen, who ran into Stan Mikowas and bounced off. May have got a yard or 2. Abu Bakr not far away from that one either, Ron.
Good job defensively. McCallus went right off the shoulder of the center. He got penetration into the backfield, and he's going to hold him almost a little over a yard. I think that this is going to be a very interesting decision.
Out there, the rookie from Washington State who does the punting. He scares me a little, Ron. He stands just a little bit too tight to that line of scrimmage. He's only back about 12 yards.
Well, it's not so bad now. At least when they had those 4 guys there, I thought they were going to block him on him. He was stepping right into them.
This one takes a Winnipeg bounce to Scott Flagel. Penalty marker down, could be no yards. Now Flagel loses the football and they come forward, but this one has been whistled down. Figure with the ball dancing away, but no yards against Calgary. The Stampeders. Clements hit to James Murphy for a 10-yard touchdown pass. David Shaw came up with a 21-yard interception return for another Bomber touchdown. Clements waiting all kinds of time. Throws it to Erdman. He breaks down to the 25-yard line. Richie Hall on the tackle for Calgary, but that's a big gainer for the Bombers.
Erdman has just kind of been the forgotten man in the Winnipeg offense this year, but a big play for them. He's just kind of hanging around here doing nothing. Clements finally finds him, and then he does the rest on his own. Good running. Gets a block from Poplawski. Gets it down deep inside the 30.
Jerome Erdman, the receiver, a Simon Fraser graduate. Tom Clements had all kinds of time on that play to set it up. Here's Willard Reeves looking for running room. Gets it down to the 16-yard line. James Walker in on the stop, but not before Reeves is through for about 7 or 8.
Good job. Watch this. They will kick this man out, and the lead blocker goes inside the block. That's the key. Watch. They're going to block out. Here it comes. Bang. You kick him out. Now he's got going up for their number 65, Bastaya, plus his lead blocker in Kehoe. They're in business.
Willard Reeves, 172 yards along the ground tonight. He's had one of the ball games he likes to have. There he goes again. He runs right into some blocking, however, up front. Drives his way through, though, and gets the first down.
Minutes. That's a big task.
Bombers break the huddle as a crowd of over 25,000 urges them on here. Clements fakes the pitch back, looks into the end zone, throws, incomplete, intended for Murphy. Mel Jenkins made a good move defensively at the 11-yard line. Clements throws left. Penalty markers down as Reeves drives. He's for the 5. He's over. But is it a touchdown? Penalty flags all over the field. And that is the question mark. Reeves going around the end for the major, but
this should be offensive interference. Okay, they didn't call it. Yeah, they did.
Counteracting penalties, they'll bring it back. Illegal interference, offensive interference it was. You got one right. They also called the penalty against the Calgary Stampeders.
Here's why. Calgary was in a man-to-man defense. Poplawski is going to come in, and he's going to block on this man who has to cover Willard Reeves. Now watch what happens. He can't get there. You see Poplawski coming, and he actually threw a block on him right here. That means nobody's out there to cover Reeves. That's where he had to get to. The referee was right on top of it.
So the counteracting penalties apply. The Bombers will take the football back at the 16-yard line, and they'll have it there, second down, and still 15 to go. They got to go to the 1-yard line. Murphy not too happy about the call, which nullified a touchdown. Clements back to throw. Throws it down the middle. Intercepted. Bernie Morrison. And he's back up to the 18-yard line. Willard Reeves brings him down. A very timely interception by Bernie Morrison.
It sure was.
But the penalty marker, of course, came up and it nullified that touchdown. Morrison then coming through. All right, let's see if Johnson can cash in on that turnover. Hands off to Petrus, who drives up the middle. And he is up near the 24-yard line. The clock ticking away. Johnson back on 2nd and 5. Down the middle he comes. Intercepted. Ty Jones has picked it off for Winnipeg. Now he drops the ball again. Did he hang on to it? I don't know. That hot potato football.
He got it back. I think we're going to get a late hit on number 57, Bob Poley. When Jones was on the ground, he hit him there. Rick Johnson going off the field, a little bit disappointed.
Oh, yeah. Ty Jones made the interception.
Well, watch him try to throw it between two blue jerseys. James West and Tyrone Jones. Now, as he comes back, we're going to see a late hit by, I think, number 57, Bob Poley. He recovers the football, and here it comes right there.
Yep.
Can't do that. Can't use that head as a weapon.
Big turnover in Winnipeg's favor. Jones just dropped the football as he was running with it before he was hit. But Ty, of course, has been a ball player who has come through with some Excellent moves at the right time for the Bombers in his career here. He's a four-year man who won the Shenley Award as the top defensive player in the country last year. He gives the Bombers possession at the 15. Clements hands to Reeves, room up the middle, near the 5-yard line.
Was a good job up front by Vizcaya and Richard Nemeth. And
Canadian Mint 1-ounce gold coin presented by the Nikon One Touch, the simplest Nikon 35mm ever. Reeves is in a setback position for the Bombers at the 6-yard line. Takes the handoff, trips across the 5. He's close to a first down, however. In there now. The handoff to Kantner, who dives toward the goal line. He's not into the end zone. So Kehoe is in the ball game now, replacing Kantner. There's the handoff to Reeves. Touchdown! Penalty marker down. Hold everything. It's an offside. Calgary. The touchdown stands up. And so the Blue Bombers have moved in front of this ball game by a 24-14 margin as Willard Reeves caps a sterling effort here tonight with this touchdown dive from the 1-yard line.
it's a big, big win for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers tonight, and especially the way they did it. Those statistics right there, 188 yards rushing for Willard Reeves, is what they've needed since the beginning of the season. But I'll tell you one thing, this Calgary football team is a good one.
Joe Poplawski has added the extra point. The Bombers increase it to 25-14. And it's a happy crowd here at Winnipeg Stadium tonight with just a minute and 19 seconds to go. And Ron, a ball game that was kind of dreary at one stage, certainly in the first half, tight defensive struggle, has had a fair amount of highlights here in the late stages.
Boy, it sure has. I think the Calgary's played well.
Some of the people who produce our CFL CBC football, our executive producer, John Spalding. Our producer tonight, Lawrence Kimber. Our director is Larry Brown. And our isolation director, Brant Haywood. Thank you, gentlemen, and the others who make CFL football possible. A busy crew, of course, here in Winnipeg and across our country in the CFL, bringing CFL football to you. All right, Faby ready to kick it off for the Bombers. Time is in. High end over end. Coming down around the 25-yard line to Hopkins. He's back to the 35. Spun to the right. James West missed him on that occasion. He gets back up near the 40-yard line. Faby's, but only a minute and 12 seconds to go. The people in our CFL control who are involved in our production, Dave Naylor, and our director, Jim Marshall. And others down at control. Johnson back to throw near his 30-yard line. Fires it down the middle, just off the fingertips of Toner at the 50-yard line. Ken Haley, the man on the coverage against Toner, the fine young inside receiver. Out of the huddle they come now. Stampeders with a minute and 6 seconds to go. Johnson throws complete to Allen. Allen is by Delbert Fowler near the Calgary 48-yard line.
Never know whether Tom's played well or poorly. He never shows a whole lot of emotion, but He's got to be happy. They won.
Allen up the middle, drives into Winnipeg territory. He's all the way down to the 48-yard line. Gary Clements hit James Murphy from 10 yards out. David Shaw returned an interception, 21 yards for a score. Reeves scored. So did Alexander on a 19-yard pass from this man, Ron Johnson, who fires deep downfield for Tolbert. That one was off the mark, and Haley goes down on the turf after almost making the interception.
You better cover him. Give him a little special attention.
34 seconds to go. The Bombers up by 11. Johnson throwing deep downfield. Incomplete. He tried again to get to Tolbert. Penalty marker down. And that man there very unhappy, shaking his head, Cal Murphy. James Jefferson is the culprit, and he's appealing from Texas A&I. All right, on the automatic first down at the 16. Johnson will drift to the left, looks into the end zone, throws it. Intended for Tolbert, just off the mark. Haley once again covering on the Calgary inside receiver. Has discovered that Tolbert is out there.
Well, you heard you, Bob. You said they got to get him involved in the outfield.
22 seconds to go. Second down, Calgary at the 16. A running play. It is Petrus who stumbles his way forward and gets over the 15.
Give him a little bit of a lead, but then Johnson did come back quick.
Third down here at the 16-yard line. Johnson rolls to the right, throws. Toner grabs it. He's down around the 4, maybe the 5-yard line, and still 12 seconds to go. On the 4-yard line, Johnson looks left, throws as he falls, and it goes into the end zone, incomplete. Second down with 7 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Johnson into the end zone, throws complete, touchdown. Alexander getting his second touchdown of the night, and he has narrowed the game now, the score to 25-20. Alexander on a 4-yard reception from Johnson, and he's all alone in the end zone. 2 of them to Alexander, 4 touchdowns. And they're going to go for the 2-point conversion here with 4 seconds to go. This will not figure in the actual time, but it goes incomplete. He tried to get Tolbert in the end zone, trying to get 2 points.
If he gets...
Baby tees it up at the 35-yard line. Just 4 seconds to go in the ball game, and the Bombers nursing a 5-point lead. Here it comes from Faby. He kicks it high.
Good kick.
Good kick. Coming down to Kopp at the 20-yard line. He throws it immediately out of bounds, and still 2 seconds on the clock. Very alert move by Dart. Out of the huddle come the Stampeders. As you see, just 2 seconds showing on that clock. Johnson back to throw. Looks, fires deep down the right side for Alexander. He's got it at the 45. Knocked out of bounds by Bennett, and that's going to be it. The gun goes to end the ball game. The final score, Winnipeg 25, Calgary 20. I'm Bob Pickett, and I thoroughly enjoyed filling tonight for my old CBC partner in Winnipeg, Don Whitman. Now let's go to CFL Control, and here's Don Martin.